Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, give thanks to everybody that's part of this endeavor, and especially our Patreons that keep us going with their support. And again, there are always unique videos that go up on Patreon on a weekly basis.
Oh, you guys are so truly appreciated and loved. Thank you.
Yeah, and I find it just so heartwarming when I see you guys commenting on Patreon and you still take the time to go to YouTube or sometimes Rumble and comment over there too, because you really want to help the algorithms and help get the message out. This is definitely concerning, especially because, you know, there are some very talented, gifted people out there that do remote viewing or are what we would call a psychic, that literally have seen a major event coming up that seems to be some sort of chemical or biological attack. Talking about the remote viewing team of the future forecasters, and then also Christoph, the Polish psychic that we also follow. And so, you know, when I see this, Department of Defense is preparing for possible biochemical attacks at the DNC, which starts tomorrow, the 19th. Oh, yeah, obviously, this looks like a major potential for chaos. You have reports of those Antifa people that are supposedly heading to the area in the tens of thousands. You have pallets of bricks at numerous places. I guess just some construction going on. And then you have the astrology. And, you know, the astrology is something, again, one of our other favorites. Joni Petria has been saying the 19th and the days right around it, very key. Watch it, because she has been pointing out this is really the same astrology that was in place, very similar, going all the way back to 1941 and Pearl Harbor. So it could be a big event upcoming in the coming days. At the same time, she also is very convinced that, you know, it might appear that Kamala Harris is the presumptive person to run against 45, but she doesn't think it's going to be Kamala. So I wonder what could possibly happen. Could it be some revelations? You know, maybe somebody's been burying skeletons in the closet that are going to come to light, or could it be anything related to maybe what could be some coming attack? Very curious.
Well, she's so concerned because she keeps talking about Jupiter being 23 degrees in Taurus, and not only was it Pearl Harbor, it was also Hiroshima. So both of those major attacks happened right at that degree. And when you look at astrology, sometimes it's not exactly, but you can have chaos a little before or a little after. It's definitely a time where we should be stabilizing at home, because that energy spreads out.
Yes, absolutely. You know, these are interesting times, to say the least. There is a 3-alarm fire going on in San Antonio, and this fire is at a warehouse for a spa company that sells jacuzzis, hot tubs, and spas. What could possibly be the motivation, if it is intentional, and if it's accidental, what really happened here? This is a big fire. It's massive. Now, incidentally, there was this, which seemed to get swept under the table. I really didn't see that much attention paid to this event, where there were multiple shots that were fired at the Joint Base San Antonio. So these two, if there's no traffic, these two locations are literally a hop, skip, and a jump, half hour, away from each other if there is no traffic. So obviously, whoever took pot shots could be setting fires, or they could be completely random and have nothing to do with each other.
We know it's a mess.
So here's what they added in. The second shots fired missed a few soldiers, and they returned fire at the car, but it was able to speed away. So are these what we would call sleepy cellular units? There's a lot of things that point to the fact that they might be awakening right now, as the Earth is Apparently Awakening 2, with that 7.0 we were talking about in Russia, it triggered a volcanic eruption. Yeah, and again, it was 7.4 according to some other sources other than the USGS downgrading service. You know what else is really interesting? It's right next to a Russian naval base, right when we're looking at the outset of the possibility of World War III. Do you think that's a coincidence? No. So what's going to happen is that a lot of people are going to realize that a lot of what we've taken to be acts of nature are not acts of nature, they're acts of technology. Not everyone, and also, if they're not being caused by technology, they're being amplified by technology and taken advantage of as a situation that could be utilized to strike out at an opponent, so to speak. So, here we are. This happens to be right next to a naval base, and that earthquake triggered massive volcanic activity. Oh, volcanoes can definitely cool the earth off pretty quickly, and they have in the past.
Well, whoever they feel is responsible is going to probably get a little kickback, so that's a concern.
Yeah, again, anything that they're warning us about, when the system says, watch out, things are heating up, I get extra winter coats because that's just the way I look at things.
Indeed.
Absolutely. So onward we go. And this is really, really curious. There's so many curious things going on right now. There's so many curious things flying by in the sky, and it's not safe to be in a lot of areas. It doesn't really seem to matter where you are in any of the major cities or even out in the suburbia. This is East Kilbride, Scotland. There was an attack by what appeared to be a foreigner in which a man lost his hand because of a machete attack. We would fill up a very long video with all these incidents because they're happening all over the place. Here's Istanbul, Turkey. Another person attacked. Deceased alleged to be the son of a senior Hamas executive. Was this something that was a project of Israel? And here you see an anti-Israel protest in Oslo, Norway going on. A lot of people don't like what they've been witnessing. I think it's only the beginning, unfortunately. And I do think the world is going to wake up, and it's going to be the world that stops this crazy system. And you have 5 kids died in the past week at one school, from sudden cardiac arrest. What's this? This is just crazy. But this is the world we live in. We didn't have all these health issues. We didn't have athletes dropping by the hundreds and kids dropping by the hundreds. And, 5 years ago, we didn't have this. You guys understand that picture, and yet they're still pushing the narrative. What type of disease kills 99% of adults but leaves hundreds of thousands of children unaffected? I think I'm going to be looking at some more of Stanley's posts here. History is a set of lies agreed upon. Yes, as the world continues to wake up. How about the orphan trains? Where do all these orphans come from? The first U.S. orphanage was created in 1729. Well, yeah, I just got a book that I was breezing through, and it said the last real hard SET was 1728. That's interesting. Isn't that interesting? It's always ongoing. It's always ongoing, and it does vary population to population, and not everybody feels the effects of this at the same time, typically. But it does happen at times. It happened in the Younger Dryas with that great extinction event. What is really going on here? Early bioengineering. By George, I think he's got it. Stanley's got it.
I know it's a mess, and to call them orphanages is really just a joke, because they were not orphanages. They were like little jails, and children were traumatized. They were seriously traumatized, and in some cases just left, probably not able to get any better, but then they go on and they have families of their own. and their children are traumatized, and the parents don't deal with it or talk about it, and the child comes from that traumatized frequency. So I see it as the starting of them causing the trauma to really create what's going on now, and that's just the moral fabric of our world is just falling apart.
So, this one American farmer tested his soil. It has 5 times the amount of aluminum it used to have. I saw other people saying theirs had 10 times. They say the GMO seeds are growing okay, but all the organic ones, the heirloom, are not doing so good. It was weird because, we have 7-8 foot tall tomato plants, and there was all this productivity that was starting to happen, and all of a sudden it was like all the tomatoes disappeared, and now they're starting to come out again, but it's just weird. It's really weird, and we see the funny clouds all the time. And Cindy has gotten from the guides and remote viewed again. The Denisovans were not dumb, and Neanderthals were not dumb. They weren't anything like what they're portrayed as. They were a greater threat to the system than we are, and this is why they're no longer here, because we are their replacements. The question is, who's our replacements?
Who is it?
I don't know. Third base. You guys remember that? Anybody got that? You remember that? So Phoenix Faithful, one of our Patreons, took this video, and I think it to me it looks typically of what I've seen before as a Merkaba. I think obviously this is probably Phoenix. So you can see the light, and the thing is, the way that it rotates is what makes me think it's a Merkaba. I've seen these over in South Carolina, off the coast of Charleston, and in other areas too. But I would say that is actually, it looks like it probably is a Merkaba. So in other words, it's a being.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yep. Yeah, somebody with an activated light body and a Merkaba, which is a vehicle to get around different densities and, from one place to another. Looks like this guy's got a friend. I was wondering if it was an anteater, and Cindy was wondering if it was a honey badger. I didn't look down. I didn't want to spoil it. I wanted to see who's going to name it right. And I think we could call him Pete. How about Pete?
I think he's just 100% cute.
He's adorable. And again, sometimes you'll pick up friends, and, maybe sometimes you'll bring them home and see what the wife or the other half says. Can we keep them?
That's always fun.
Yeah, that's a mother's nightmare.
A big one. Yeah.
As always, guys, thanks for your support. Much love. Look forward to the comments. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.